little areas.
Yeah, it feels like they just end up feeding their feet places you could attack them from.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's a lot there. No. So, I'm just trying to think of like, is there anything that you compromise by going up the body there? I really don't think you do.
If you couple it with chin to shoulder, I think it's golden.
Yeah.
Not letting your head hang out, but keeping it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else on that at all?
Just a sort of theoretical question, really, because I really don't know much about leg locks. I'm not good at them at all. And I suppose the general principle is that you want to use you're trying to get the foot across the body to create a form of sort of fulcrum. Is that how it's, what you're being denied with the arms is you can't get the leg onto the body to apply the leg lock.
Yeah, you can't finish with the hand position in there. You can't really finish.
Yeah.
If you look at what we've been doing with the underhook, so if Pete's trying to get this, he's trying to get in this space.
Yeah.
Right. So what he actually wants is to get in there, right? And I suppose an extreme, like the omoplata is a good, just give me the omoplata is a good example, right? Look at what I need to do this is kind of like what the main leg lock entries are about, is that what I want to try and do is, first of all, get control of the inside space, right? Then I want to, almost with the case of the plata, I need to almost like turn all the way through. And the key point is I need to be able to clear his head. If this is before we even got into it, and then people might triangle the legs or whatever, but the basic gist of it is I need to separate his head from here. Otherwise he just keeps coming in and he can keep clearing that space. So I've not only got to get under here, I've got to get in front. When we were doing the half guard this week, and he's got half guard, one of the things we talked about here was this idea that I'm keeping both my arms here, and on my underhook, when I go for the underhook, I want to get to either here, right? This was one of the things we talked about, is to keep trying to keep his head down with it, or passing it and making him face away, which is the same thing Hickson basically does in the arm lock from close guard as well, that we were talking about in Messenger. But you see how it's the same principle. I've denied him the inside space. As we're playing around and he's trying to fight for it, I'm going to take the inside space, and then having taken it, I either push his head to the ground or I separate him from his arm. So that's that, right? This is basically the same thing that we want with the leg. So again, we're in a 50-50, yeah. So now I've got a massive advantage here because my feet are inside. I have control of the inside space. So for Pete to leg lock me, he needs to first of all pommel. He'd have to pommel his leg, get the inside space, and then ideally clear that all the way until he's at least on the hip. But preferably for him, he actually wants the foot down on the ground almost. So either lifting my leg or, I think better still, putting his foot to the ground. Which is what he actually wants in back control as well. A lot of people miss this point, but he basically has a kickstand now. Yeah? So that's what he's basically wanting to do, is to connect his foot to the ground. So now he has control of that leg. He has control of the inside space, but then he's also, then created this sort of secondary kind of lock. Having got the inside space, he's locking me into this position by putting his foot to the ground, kickstanding in. So that to me is the leg lock. The problem with leg locks is people get into this whole thing of trying to coach you separate stuff. You have a leg lock game. Oh, it's complicated. And we have all this tree diagram going on. But to me, the basic posture that denies the beginning of all this shit is don't give this inside space. Don't give this space from your hip to your armpit ever to them. And if you don't give them that on either side, I think Jiu-Jitsu looks like a completely different game.
Do you remember Keenan's defence to the knee bar?
Where he puts the hand to
He puts the hands on the ankle, so it creates a set. I'm just thinking, you there.
Yeah.
If your hands are here, and he puts the hands here so that the fulcrum ends up here, not on the knee.
Right.
But you're already.
I certainly remember him doing
He
this
feeds
type of
inside.
thing.
Yeah.
Right, he slid it.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember him saying, he said, oh, how's your leg not? Because
Yeah.
people were saying, oh, he's going to be busted up afterwards, and he said, no, I think he maybe got that entry anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I recall.
Yeah,
He went
exactly.
low at it.
But I think the principle is, rather than when their hips engage, it being on the knee, and
Yeah.
the fulcrum being on the knee, it's on this frame here.
Right.
And if you're already inside that space,
And you control that space.
exactly, that's my point.
You've created a little
You've already
triangle
controlled
here.
space. Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Let's just get some side control going. Because I just think it's the best place to have a play with this. Get some side control going and just working on trying it on. One side down. Just switch it over one for one. And we'll move it round as well. See if you can get on their neck. Start with the double underhook. See if you can really see if you can sort of cause some kind of problem here. One for one. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, you're keeping the guy on the bottom, keeping the double unders. Yeah. Don't give up. Yeah, let's go.